on every day, there is a real need for a modern monitoring solution that can fulfill the requirement of the new services and new services that came up on a daily basis from different hyperscalers, whether in the cloud, public cloud or private cloud, or for the in new infrastructure services. So this is the first importance of modern monitoring, of keeping up to date with the cloud native services in order to monitor the platform as a service services, the different cloud native services which came up on a daily basis, and having a monitoring tool that can fit into different cloud platform and different, whether for the public cloud or private cloud. Having an up-to-date and flexible monitoring tool is one of the most important thing to have with a modern monitoring solution. Also, we need to prevent as much as possible any possible downtime. Also identify different trends now for my users. We don't want just to monitor my users. Okay, I know that I can have the information of how many concurrent users I'm having, maybe visiting my website, how many requests or queries that users are generating to my database. But I need to understand the trending. When is the peak hours? When is the off-peak hours? And using all of that in order to apply it for environment optimization. Having also a predictive and a proactive monitoring by doing some kind of correlation on the monitored data or the collected data by the monitoring. So just legacy monitoring, it couldn't provide with all these new requirements because of the new cloud services and the evolved of the infrastructure services. But we need a modern monitoring solution in order to fulfill this requirement, and in order to minimize the false positive and just send the real alerts, the real alerts to the NOC team or to the monitoring team, in order to avoid let's say the unwanted alerts, to keep them focusing on the real issues. Now, what type of monitoring that is needed by this modern monitoring solution? We need that monitoring solution to fit into the different type of infrastructure, which is platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, as well as the legacy, like bare metal servers, different type of network appliances, security appliances, where we can monitor the hybrid environment between the multi-cloud, as well between the on-premise and the cloud as well. The application performance monitoring, in order to provide with a visibility on the application level, to see how different services are talking to each other, to help us to troubleshoot this application performance. If there is any performance degradation, if there is any performance degradation, we can know that is it from which service by the application, from which tier of the application, is it from the web tier, from the app tier, from the database tier, where we can provide with full visibility on the application level. Also, collecting different logs from all infrastructure layers, and collecting the logs from collecting the logs from the application and different servers and different maybe shared services, let's say on the network, is something essential. So we need to manage these huge number of logs and be able to apply some kind of correlation, some kind of search and query these logs. Also, this will be part of the functions that provided by the modern monitoring solution. Also, security monitoring is now a very crucial part in the operation or managed services or whatever it is. Managing any infrastructure, the security monitoring is a crucial part where we can have full visibility among even different security solutions that running inside the environment. We need to collect the logs from these different security solutions. We need to have a full visibility across my security on a different layers in order to have a unified security visibility for my unified security fabric. Also, having to monitoring the network performance itself and correlated with the other with the other monitoring in order to be able to troubleshoot any issues. So if with all these monitoring in place, I can have an end-to-end visibility in order to which will reduce the time for troubleshooting. So few clicks, I can know from where the problem is. If I have any failure in any service, and I have the visibility on the top of my application, on the top of my infrastructure, on the top of my network. If I have that end-to-end visibility, then I should be able to troubleshoot and reach the root cause of that problem very easily. Now, with these different types of monitoring and with these different types of monitoring and the different requirements for modern monitoring system, as well with the different monitoring layers, we can have the different monitoring use cases in order to monitor the network performance. The different network appliances or different network devices, the container monitoring and different cloud, maybe native compute services related rely on containers. We can also monitor that service. The data monitoring the data for any sensitive data. We can do scanning for the data as a part of my monitoring and security services provided by my monitoring system, building an audit trail as a part of my log management, building some observability pipelines in order as a very mature layer of the log management, where we can control the routing of these logs from different sources and deliver it to different destinations in order to do any transformation, to clean these logs and keep only the important logs and do some kind of normalization on the logs itself. So we will not be keeping everything, but we will be storing the only needed logs in intelligent way and deliver the needed logs to the appropriate consumer. Also, as a part of the advanced troubleshooting that we need, we can have a distributed tracing, and we can apply as well the database monitoring as well. So we are talking about requirement, not the usual requirement or legacy requirement for the monitoring, but we need an advanced monitoring where we can monitor all the services facilitate the root cause analysis for the let's say network operation team or security operation team, can be flexible to be integrated with any cloud native services and to keep up to date with different services on a different multi-cloud platforms, as well as keep supporting the legacy on-premise services and infrastructure. We as a Bespin Global, we are a managed service provider, and we need that monitoring tool as one of the core tools to provide our managed services. We need to monitor our customers' infrastructure proactively and generate the needed alerts whenever we detect anything wrong. We need to generate that alerts and send that alerts based on the specific process. We are, as a part of our managed services for the infrastructure, we are providing with an end-to-end visibility to our customers for their infrastructure as well for the application. Also, as a result for the advanced monitoring implementation and that end-to-end application, at the end, we will be able to help our customers to optimize their workload and environment, because we have that holistic view and end-to-end visibility on their application and their infrastructure and their security, and do the proactive testing for their GUI, for their web-faced applications. So we can tell them, okay, you have this oversized or over provisioned maybe servers. You can downsize it. We can give them an idea about the trending. So whenever they have any promotions or and they are whenever they are predicting a huge number of requests to their websites or to their application, they will know what to do. In order to fulfill that requirement, actually, Bespin Global rely on Datadog as a modern monitoring solution. And since Bespin Global also is a managed service provider for almost all hyperscalers, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform, and some other private cloud and public cloud providers, we rely on Datadog as our core monitoring tools, which is a SaaS-based monitoring solution that can almost integrate with everything. Whatever the customer platform, whether if it is a modern platform or modern platform that's following the microservices architecture, or if it is a legacy multi-tier architecture, whether if the user is having multi-cloud environment or having hybrid environment, we always rely on Datadog for end-to-end monitoring to provide the visibility on a different layer, starting from the application layer down to the network and connectivity and performance of the network. Bespin Global is the first gold partner for managed services. One thing is worthy to mention here, actually. Also, as a managed service provider, the monitoring system should support that kind of business model. And the monitoring solution should fulfill the requirement of the multi-tenancy that is needed by the managed service provider to provide multiple tenants to serve different customers and to keep the monitoring data for each customer in different containers in his environment, and to keep the customer feeling that this instance is dedicated for him. So that multi-tenancy is also fully supported by Datadog platform. Also, in Bespin Global and working with different native cloud services, we do following and we do apply the DevOps practice and DevSecOps practice to our customers, where Datadog can fit perfectly into monitoring the DevOps process and DevOps CI/CD pipelines, where very few other monitoring system can provide. Now, Bespin, what kind of value that Bespin Global is bringing through Datadog to our customers? As I mentioned before, so we are providing with an end-to-end holistic view and full visibility for our customers' infrastructure on a different layer, starting from the application layer down to the operating system that underlying to that application. No matter what this application architecture is, whether if it is a containerized application following the microservices architecture, or if it is a multi-tier application following the multi-tier structure, we will be able to monitor the all application communication and dependencies, as well. We will be able to monitor the operating system and collect different alarms and logs from the operating system itself. We will be able to monitor the hardware and the compute, the CPU utilization, the RAM, the storage, and create different alarms and different notifications related to the infrastructure, down to the network that handling all the communication, and also monitoring different security checkpoints to give also a full visibility from security perspective. Now, also we are providing our customers through Datadog with full proactive user interface monitoring, where we do simulate the real user behavior and create and monitor different performance metrics related to that simulation. So we always initiate a simulation for a real user sessions, this user, and we create different use cases to do that real simulation and make it a user-like as much as possible for their website, for their application. Create different cases also using the synthetic testing from different geographical places in order to know the performance for different users coming from different geographical location, in order to act proactively to any performance issue, or to detect any problem with any functionality related to that website or application. Also, at the end, since the business is very tightly relying on the IT right now and relying on the business application, we provide our customers with business impact optimization and business metrics in order to see their uptime, in order to correlate any downtime or any performance issue directly to correlate it to revenue loss through the different SLA and service level objectives. So we are able to create some kind of dashboard and business related metrics to show any impacts of any downtime or any performance related issues. Now, last but not least, Datadog is providing with a massive integration and very wide spectrum of integrations, whether through its agent-based integration, where we can install an agent of the Datadog on a different operating systems and start collecting different monitoring metrics, or through its API integration, where through that API integration, Datadog can integrate with different SaaS and PaaS services, because whenever we have any platform as a service or software as a service services, we will not be able to install any agent. That's why we have we do that through an API, the API integration, and the Datadog is having an existing integrations. It's one of the largest integration libraries among all monitoring systems, where you can find the integration with any PaaS service like AWS RDS, app service on Azure, and different also platform as a service services from Google. Thank you so much. I hope that we try to show that our managed services using Datadog is providing with a clear use case about the value that Datadog can bring as a modern monitoring solution for the infrastructure and security. Handing over to my colleague Nohoon. He will give more and deeper insight about the capabilities of the Datadog, and he will dive more deeply about the different technical features of the Datadog. Handing over to you, Nohoon.
So thank you so much, Faiz, and thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Nohoon Lee, and I'm Partner Solutions Architect based in APAC, Korea. I'm working for Global Partner Technical Solutions team at Datadog. It's me standing in the picture, and this picture was when I had technical training with Bespin Global HQ in Korea. I'd like to just share a small fun fact about me, is that I was used to be Datadog customer before when I worked for LG, and got really fascinated by the products, so I decided to join the Datadog finally. So I'm not telling you that you to leave your company, but I just added this fun fact because hoping that you also get interested in Datadog and got fascinated by our products and features. So we have a lot to cover today, and my presentation will be approximately about 30 minutes. So I hope by the end of the presentation, you will be more familiar with our products and have a better understanding of how Datadog partner, especially our gold partner, Bespin Global, can help you better adopting Datadog. So some of you already heard or knew about Datadog, and some might be the first time. So in the first place, I will share a little bit about Datadog itself and talk about why we recommend Datadog for your cloud migration journey, monitoring and gain observability of your whole system. We will then spend the majority of our time in the platform, where I will provide demo and explanation on our products and features. Also, we will cover about Datadog platform security and compliances. We will leave plenty of time at the end for the questions, so you can leave questions on Q&A chat during the presentation. So as our first section, let's get started with an introduction to Datadog. So Datadog is the security and monitoring service for cloud scale applications. One of our unique value is deep integration with AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. We played really well in scenarios that include cloud migrations. And we give you 360-degree view of your environments, whether it is on on-premise infrastructure or public cloud, and also post-migration, before and after comparison. Datadog goes way beyond with over 500 integration now. And Datadog is 100% SaaS, so you don't have to install or manage the platform by yourself. Datadog was founded in 2010 to break down silos among organizations and teams. We have released products from 3 pillars of observability, which includes infrastructure monitoring, application performance monitoring, which is APM, and log management, to UX monitoring and network monitoring. And most recently, Datadog Security Platform has been added to our product lineup. As of year 2022, more than 20,000 customers are using Datadog. We have more than 3,000 employees all around the world and continue to show strong revenue growth every quarter and year. As you can see from the picture, we have improved and added various products. However, you don't have to worry about learning or managing the new platform. One of the great things about Datadog is that Datadog keeps every feature in one product and in one platform. We had really good news last quarter from 2022 Gartner Magic Quadrant. Datadog once again been named the leader in Magic Quadrant for application performance monitoring and observability, ranking the highest for our ability to execute. We emerged in 2020 as a visionary, named the leader next year, and now we are almost reached to the top of the graph. One thing I want to mention is that how fast the Datadog is growing in this area of APM and observability. The full report is available, so if you are interested, you can download from our official website, datadog.com. From now on, I'd like to talk a little bit about why Datadog. So modern applications are built with a multi-tier, service-oriented architecture. So problems that affect end users can occur at any level in your tech stack. Those problems need to be caught before issues cascade and become critical. Traditional siloed monitoring, where each team uses their own monitoring tool and users are constantly chasing the red or tracking the yellow sign, is no longer sufficient. All teams do not have a single source of truth and are often blindsided at critical moments. Context switching and finger pointing are often the end result, and which is just typical example of a siloed organization. This impacts every reason which led you to the cloud in the first place, negatively impacts your scalability, reduces agility, increases cost, affects cloud migration and platform modernization projects, and limits application optimization. This is where Datadog can help you. We collect data from all your servers, containers, applications, and cloud-based services with a single unified agent. The same agent that collects metrics also collects logs. All that data is sent to Datadog SaaS platform, which enable us to do all levels of monitoring listed on the slide. Infrastructure monitoring for your backend servers and cloud-based instances. APM on the application server side, which gives you insights aggregated all across all requests. Log management for all front-end and back-end logs that allows you to analyze the details of issues. Synthetics for proactive testing of API endpoints and websites to detect issues before it impacts your customers. Real user monitoring for your browsers and mobile devices. Network performance to manage and optimize the traffic flow across the entire stack. With everything enabled in one platform, your teams have a single source of truth with zero context switching. Our machine learning and automated correlations help you to get insights and take action using all this data. From tracking SLOs to real-time root cause analysis and integration with your collaboration workflow tools, Datadog has you covered any stack, any application, at any scale, anywhere. So why Datadog? Our biggest differentiator is that we unify the three pillars of observability, metrics, traces, and logs in a SaaS monitoring platform with a single unified agent. We've already discussed that at length. Here are other differentiators that are unique to Datadog. Cloud agnostics, built for hybrid architectures and can be deployed everywhere. Ease of use, out-of-the-box seamless correlation, and no need to learn a complex query language. Logging without limits, ingest all logs cost effectively and analyze in real time. Superior granularity and retention. 15-second granularity for all metrics with retention for 15 months. Data-driven, actionable alerting with the machine learning that helps you reduce alert fatigue. As I already mentioned, more than 20,000 customers love and trust Datadog all over the world. The customers on this slide are from Europe, the Middle East, and Africa region specifically. So from now on, I will introduce Datadog key products for end-to-end monitoring for your system. We strive to make Datadog simple, but not simplistic. As a SaaS offering, we place premium on ease of use for the practitioner. We have a single platform supporting multiple use cases. However, as we saw before, the world is complex, and your application is also complex. So while we make it easy for our users, we provide robust support for various use cases. We started out with our infrastructure monitoring product, and then we expanded into APM and log management. We will dive into exactly what that means in the next section of the presentation. Our product release cadence has rapidly increased in recent years. Since 2017, we've released 12 new products, actively expanding to more broad observability platform. These include our serverless monitoring, real user monitoring, database management, continuous profiler products, and many more. Most recently, we launched our cloud security platform. So Datadog is constantly looking for more ways to explore and expand our product offering to benefit our customers. Today, as this might be your first experience with Datadog, we will focus on three pillars of observability: infrastructure, application performance monitoring, and log management, plus real user monitoring, which is for monitoring the front end of your application. Datadog provides perfect correlation among different products, which completes end-to-end monitoring in one single platform. Before we jump into Datadog products, I'd like to share a picture that explains typical web request response flow. End user navigates our website, let's say datadog.com. The request reaches to the server through network. The server starts to process the request, querying database, calling API, and computing internally. After all the process is completed, the server will respond back to the end user's browser, showing the website. It can be compared to the process of delivering food from your favorite delivery app. So customers order food from delivery application, which is same as visiting website from browser. The order will be received by the restaurant, which is server, and the chef starts to cook the food, same as querying, calling API, and computing. The food, which is response, will be delivered to the customer by delivery man, which could be the network. We call this side of the process as backend, preparing for food. Typically, when we talk about monitoring, especially if you have APM for your system now, it is for monitoring backend side. Infra monitoring is also one portion of backend monitoring. However, I think it's really important to check whether our well-made food has been delivered to the customer safely. This is where front-end monitoring emerges. Starting from next slide, I will explain Datadog products for backend monitoring and front-end monitoring, which enables you to have end-to-end observability of your applications, which is a great benefit of using Datadog. I hope you don't get confused during the session, so I've added a small indicator on the right bottom of the slide showing what we are now talking about. If you got lost, I kindly ask you to check for this indicator. So let's start with infrastructure monitoring. With today's dynamic and rapidly changing environments, we know how difficult it can be to keep track of all your infrastructures. HostMap provides a real-time bird's eye view of your infrastructure footprint out of the box. Container environment is also supported. Each hexagon is a host anywhere in your infrastructure, and they can be color-coded by CPU utilization, I/O, and etc. You can simply change it from the select box. You can also slice and dice the hexagons using tags. For example, you can group the containers by cloud providers. Yep. And then we can also slice it with services tag. In this way, you can easily find out which services belong to which cloud provider, so you can have a clear understanding about your service distributions. By clicking the host or container, you have more detailed information about the resource. I've clicked on the host for this example. As you can see, you have entire visibility of all live processes on that specific host. Also, if container is running on that host, detailed status of each container is available. I think I will keep emphasize the power of correlation between products we provide in Datadog. By clicking one process or container, you are able to jump directly to APM traces or logs that are related to that specific process or container. Usually, we have been using separate monitoring solution for infrastructure and application. That makes us to go back and forth between the solutions to investigate the problem, which is actually time-consuming. I'm sorry. As mentioned in previous slides, Datadog helps you to break down silos, provides full-stack end-to-end monitoring for your application from the user browser to your backend infrastructure and application. But what if we have an outage or issue and we suspect it's an issue with our code rather than the infrastructure? For that, we want to dive into APM now, where we have another out-of-the-box mapping of our environment. We call it as a service map, which is similar to host map or container map we have covered from the previous slide. I'm sure that you have heard of microservices a lot for the last 2 or 3 years. Even though your application is not designed for MSA, you could have several services that run your application. This paradigm of microservices or splitting the services for your application, it can be more difficult to keep track of dependencies for your services. That's where the service map comes in. Datadog analyzes all of the requests in your system architecture, and it uses them to automatically create this visualization for your environment. Your services are intelligently clustered based on how frequently they talk to one another. So even when you have hundreds of microservices, you and even your new engineers can still make sense of your system. From the service map, I can see that one of our services, web store, has an alert on it. We can simply inspect the service and find which dependencies are also triggering alerts. By inspecting this service, we immediately see all the dependencies both upstream and downstream. Now let's take a look into the web store service one level deeper by clicking Service Overview. The Service Overview provides real-time performance metrics for your services so that you can understand exactly how your systems are behaving. In a word, this page shows a comprehensive status of the particular service. We can see any alerts that have triggered for this particular service, and also we can see our key performance metrics for our web store service, such as total number of requests, errors, or latency. Again, you are always able to check correlated infra, traces, and logs from here. I can see all the endpoints that include this service and quickly figure out if any look suspicious due to excessive errors. Based on the list of resources that had errors, I can see we have pretty significant number of errors on our product controller show function. To really understand why we are seeing the spikes in error, let's drill into one of our error traces. Simply click the name of a resource that has the most errors on and click into a trace from the list. This is a flame graph where you can deep dive the traces related to the specific request you selected. It lays out exactly what happened with our code during this request. It shows all spans that are related to the request, including which services had the highest percentage of total execution time. As you can see, it's really convenient to check which part was slow or made error. In this case, I want to understand the error we are getting, which I can immediately see at the top level of a trace. I want to point out that even though we are in the APM section of the Datadog platform, our tight correlation with all product areas allows us to move to metrics, logs, and even live processes to understand each element of our request. Datadog can collect 100% traces, which differentiates Datadog from other solutions. We call it as tracing without limits. Last part of 3 pillars of observability is log. Datadog Log Explorer is a place where you can play with all of your application systems integration logs aggregated into Datadog. Logging without limits makes possible for you to ingest 100% of logs with reasonable price $0.1 per gigabyte. A great thing about our Log Explorer is that you don't have to know or learn any query languages to search logs you are interested. Filter logs just by clicking fastest on the left side panel or search for specific keyword from the search bar. If you want to parse, let's say enrich your logs, you could easily do it from the Datadog once the log hit the platform. Here comes correlation again. When you click one of the log related APM trace, infrastructure processes are already there for you. I'd like to introduce a little about our AI engine, Watchdog, at this moment. Watchdog is integrated into various products to investigate anomalies, error outliers, patterns for logs, and etc. For example, from this video, Watchdog Insights gives you a brief summary on which service had error spikes in which time of the day. Also, it shows how we utilize Watchdog to discover pattern from all of your logs. You can realize how quickly it sorts out and groups the logs into patterns, so you can easily see which kind of error logs we are having the most, helping you to prioritize which one you should look into in the first place. I mentioned about tracing without limits on APM part 4 demo. Not only for the traces, but also we support logging without limits, which literally means that you can send all of your logs to Datadog platform without limit. By clicking the live tail from the time period select box, you are now able to see 100% logs coming in, or we call it as ingested, to Datadog platform from your systems without any cost for indexing. This is very useful in the case of a live outage or emergency. From the logs you send to Datadog, use filters to only index and retain the logs important to you. Also, you can route all the logs to your favorite cloud archive, for example, like AWS S3. If you need to bring logs out of the archive, you can do that with our rehydration process. Above all, you have flexibility. If you need to change your index filters to keep more or fewer or different types of logs, you can do that all at any time in the UI very easily. We have covered 3 pillars of observability: infrastructure, APM, and log management, which is focused on monitoring the backend side of your system. From now on, I'd like to invite all of you to the area of front-end monitoring. Today, I will introduce you to real user monitoring, as commonly known as RUM. Basically, RUM collects metrics and data from real end users' device. With each front-end application that has been integrated with RUM, we provide a detailed overview section containing the most important information related to the application performance, error metrics, and user analytics. This website is a demo e-commerce application. We call it as Shopist, where you can see the product lineups and you can order some furnitures. We have implemented Datadog RUM on this website for today's demo. So this is an out-of-the-box dashboard page you will have once you just enable RUM on your application. Basically, you have an overall visibility on user analytics data, performance metrics such as core web vitals, and error metrics collected from users' browser. Just as a reference, if you are not familiar with core web vitals, it is an initiative by Google to provide unified guidance on what is essential to delivering a great web user experience. LCP, FID, CLS are core web vitals that is commonly used for measuring user experience. Datadog supports all these metrics as a default for your application. RUM also helps you to deep dive into the root cause for the error. Not only Datadog provides metrics, but also supports waterfall chart, where you can investigate in which part the front-end error has occurred, which resource was the root cause of performance issue. Waterfall chart makes possible for you to look into what happened to the specific user case that encountered error or performance issue. This could be a starting point for you can fix your application or for you to optimize performance of your application. Let's assume that you have received voice of customer, which is VOC, or complaints from your customer, but you don't have any idea how to reproduce the issue situation. Of course, waterfall chart could be a good option for you, but if you are not familiar with it, here is session replay. Session replay traces back what happened to your customer by reproducing the browser interaction. You don't have to worry about the privacy or security issues. We don't directly record the customer screen or device. We utilize resources and event data and replay on Datadog platform. It seems like recorded screen, but it's not. By watching the replayed session, now you will be able to find out what action caused the problem reported through VOC or the complaints. Datadog RUM is keep expanding our features for user analytics to provide the business perspective of monitoring. One of the features I'd like to introduce today is funnel. What could be the #1 KPI for e-commerce website like the Shopist? I'm sure that most of you will agree that it's checking out or maybe adding product to the cart. Here comes conversion rate, and conversion rate is the percentage of users who have completed desired action. So for our Shopist website, for example, a desired scenario would be a customer navigating through the homepage, click product on the product list page, move to the product detail page, and click add to cart button to add the product onto his cart. The conversion rate for this scenario could be easily tracked with funnel feature on our Datadog RUM. If you'd like to use this graph for one of your dashboard, you can simply click the export button on the top right side. So we've covered several features of RUM today, but we have lots of great features and products for UX monitoring, for instance, synthetics, automated testing, and so on. I hope we have more opportunity to introduce each product more in detail in the near future. Last but not least, I'd like to talk about integrations Datadog have as a last part of my product demo. Datadog provides more than 500 vendor-backed integrations. We cover all the widely used technologies as well as legacy technologies and can integrate with them in minutes. This means that Datadog becomes a single place to view your entire tech stack out of the box, providing immediate time to value. Integrations usually comes with dashboard and metrics out of the box. This makes it easy for you to get started so you can start getting data in just a few minutes. For example, one of the easiest things you can do is to set up a cloud provider integration such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, and it takes less than 1 minute to put in your read-only credentials, and Datadog will immediately pull the data from your cloud servers and other services. We have covered a lot, and to summarize, we've covered 3 pillars of observability and RUM and integrations. I know it was not enough time for you can understand fully on Datadog, but I sincerely hope that you got a little bit interested in that after my product overview. So before finishing my presentation, I'd like to talk a little bit about our Datadog platform security and compliance. So security is of paramount importance at Datadog. You can have more detailed information about the security in provided our website, datadog.com/security. Today, I'd like to highlight data protection and compliance portion of security as we are receiving so many questions from our customers. Datadog supports SAML to log into Datadog using an identity provider, which is IDP, such as Google or Okta. All data transmitted to Datadog SaaS platform is protected using TLS and HSTS. And if encrypted communication is interrupted, the Datadog application is inaccessible. All customer data is encrypted at rest using encryption standard like AES 256. Datadog maintains active SOC2 Type 2 compliance, provides HIPAA compliant for log management and security monitoring, and has achieved certification to the ISO 27001, as well as compliance with standards like 27017 and 18. So if you want more information or questions on security part, so please visit our website where you can find more information or where you can send us email. As a last section of my presentation, and as today's webinar is hosted by Bespin Global, I will talk about the benefits you will have on working with Datadog partner. Datadog provides self-guided service, which means that you could implement and use Datadog by yourself, based on our training materials. We are keep updating our documentation website, free training courses and hands-on lab, live webinar, and on-demand videos for product introduction for all of our customers. However, depending on your technology stack, project timeline, or if it's not your first time adopting monitoring solution, you might need some help from Datadog expert to get started. Datadog and Datadog partner like Bespin Global MIA, based on strong partnership, support customers for consultation, usage billing estimation, and technical support for adoption and operation. Especially, Gold tier partners are Datadog's most reliable partner. Currently, there's only like 55 Gold partners all around the world. Datadog provides dedicated technical enablement, new feature product introduction, and support to Gold tier partners by partner solutions architect just like me. There is only one Gold partner in Middle East region, and it's Bespin Global MIA. Bespin Global is headquartered in Korea and serves many customers as Datadog MSP in Korea market. I'm also supporting Bespin Global HQ for technical aspect in Korea. As Bespin Global MIA is based in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, you can meet them in person or get support on site. So I think it's a really good opportunity for you to take a first step for considering Datadog. Today, we have covered an introduction to Datadog, overview of key products, Datadog platform security and compliances, and about Datadog partner network. I tried to cover as much as possible, and I hope it was time for all of you to get familiar with Datadog. So this is end of my presentation, and I will hand over to Nancy for the Q&A session.
Yes, thank you so much, Nohoon, for your amazing presentation, and thank you, Faiz, for this amazing presentation as well. Now let's jump for the Q&As. If you have any questions, please feel free to write down your questions in the chat box, and Faiz and Nohoon will be happy to answer your questions now. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, Nohoon, and thank you everyone for your time. I hope you enjoyed your time in our webinar, and looking forward to meet you again in our future webinars later on, inshallah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you all.